Lost. That's the best way to describe how I've always felt. I haven't posted a video in a while, and a lot has happened since last time I posted a video. Many things that I never thought I'd achieve. I'm like playing Minecraft. There's gonna be a new hardcore series and I'ma just see what happens. I have no end goal for the series. It's not like anyone watches my videos anyways. I just wanted to make this video to get my mind off of the real world, even if it is just for a few minutes. I want to feel like I have someone that can listen to what I have to say. This video might not reach the correct audience, if it even reaches anyone at all. My whole life, I've played video games. It's what I've always loved doing. At any point in my life, whether I felt sad, happy, angered, etc., I always turned to video games. Over the past 3 years, I started to change. I started to want to change my life for the better, or what I thought was better. I started to change what I did. I tried to find other things to enjoy. I wanted to become a better person overall. I could never find myself. I struggled a lot physically and mentally. I was always bullied both physically and verbally. I was always the kid everyone turned to pick on. This also occurred online and it felt like I had no escape. I was always in my mind and eventually I just stopped playing video games too. It all had to do with all the suffering I had went through my whole life, that I felt like I had nothing. Before that, gaming and other things I enjoyed doing like drawing distracted me from the life I had. I always felt alone. I had no one. I had horrible thoughts in my mind that I would let beat me down. Thankfully, it all ended okay and I never decided to fully do something I would have regretted. I had a sort of spiritual awakening around 8th grade of middle school, a little before lockdown hit. It felt like I was just born. At the time I didn't know what to think of it. I became numb to everything the world offered. My life was horrible, but ultimately I decided to make a change. All I felt was hate in my heart. It was the end of 2022, halfway through my junior year. I was at the lowest point in my life. I was ruining the lives of everyone around me and myself because of how I felt. I started working out. This helped my mental state and I finally had something to look forward to. Life continued, but I broke through every obstacle that was thrown at me. I had a girl I liked, who was a year younger than me. I saw her in December. I tried and tried, but I could never get myself to talk to her. I found out her name and more about her through my sister who was the same age as this girl, and had a couple classes with her. Let's just call this girl S. Time went by and eventually the end of the school year was nearing. It was May of 2023. I had planned and thought of ways to talk to this girl who I had a big crush on. Keep in mind that I was still in a low point mentally in my life. I had no friends and I've never had a person I could call a friend. I felt ugly although I was working on myself. People would always pick on my looks and pick on me physically. I never talked to anyone because of my social anxiety. So this was a big moment in my life. I had literal poems I wrote for this girl. I decided to approach her during lunchtime. I had written a note to ask her out, but the trick is, this was my plan. To trick my own mind into thinking I was only going to give her a note. I went up to her at the end of lunch. She was with two of her friends. I tapped her shoulder and asked if I could talk to her for a minute. So I told her I thought she was very pretty. I felt a sudden rush of adrenaline, nothing like I had ever felt before. Looking back, the best way to describe that feeling is that God lent me some of their powers for that one moment. We talked, I got her name, and she got mine. My sister had the same lunch period, so she saw what happened too. It turned out she was lesbian though, so I told her to have a nice day, and classes continued. That was on my last day of junior year. That one interaction changed my whole life for the better. It was one more step I had to climb to reach my goals. I got the feeling of accomplishment. I was grateful I did it because I would have regretted not ever doing it. My life started to improve because I changed myself for the better. My senior year felt elevated. It was honestly my best school year, even though that's not saying much, because for me, school was torturous. My senior year was me minding my own business and going with the flow. I never had a friend or anyone, but I was starting to find comfort in being by myself at all times. Through the interactions with other people, I realized people could see the new me. I worked on becoming the best version of myself. I had to go through many obstacles and had night school, which changed a lot. I now didn't have time to work out. I started posting videos again because it always made me happy. I was at my peak strength once I returned, and my mind had grown stronger than ever. I had been using an app called Wiz, and through many failed interactions, I had finally found a girl I liked. We met on the app on May 19th, 2024. It all started with a simple hey from me. I felt good around this time. School was almost over and I had improved a lot. I graduated and everything with this girl I had met had gone good so far. Let's call this girl M. I graduated and I still texted her and we called a few times. I really did like M. My mind had changed. I was stoic. Nothing could affect the feeling of peace I had finally reached. Every moment of my existence had led me to where I finally was. This girl lived a bit of distance from me, but over a month later with a lot of difficulties, we finally met. We met on June 28th, 2024. It was a good time. We got close and we got to learn more about each other. It's July 21st, 2024 when I'm recording this. I just want to thank anyone that watched this video. I have finally found myself. I have finally reached a peace in my life. I have set my feelings aside and realized that whatever happens, happens. Me and M got together on July 4th, 2024 as we watched the fireworks together. I've had a great time with her and I love her. I've never felt love in my life or had anyone try to spend time with me like she has. My mind has changed though. My way of thinking now changed drastically in just these past few months alone. Nothing that happens can affect me, and I'm always prepared for any situation that arises. The numbness I always felt is gone. I've learned to forget my past, therefore even my own mind forgets things now. I'm always expecting the worst to happen, so that when the worst doesn't happen I feel happy. And if it does, well I expected it and will know my way around it. I've got back to working out and playing video games, which I always enjoyed. I've started to write my own story, which I hope one day can get published, turn into a comic, or even into an anime. I still have this lingering feeling of emptiness. Despite all I achieved and reached, I realize we can never truly feel satisfied. That's why we always have to keep pursuing something. You always have to strive for a goal. If you really think you can do it, then you will do it. I grew and turned into what I always wanted to be, which is a man. I now don't only live for myself but for others. I try to be a strong, kind person. Despite all I went through, I was able to overcome it, and you can too. In life, we often believe that achieving certain goals will bring us fulfillment and joy. Yet sometimes, the greatest lessons come from realizing that true accomplishment lies not just in the outcome, but in the journey itself. We have to learn from every experience, embrace the process, and find the meaning in every step, regardless of the expected outcome. All that I was able to experience led me to a deeper understanding of myself and others. M, if you're listening to this, I love you and hope to spend the rest of our lives together. I had to go through a lot to make me the person I am today. I'm glad I did, and I'm glad that I had that journey. I finally discovered that my true enemy was myself all along. Nobody has enemies. The truth is that nobody has them. Nobody in this entire world deserves to get hurt. No one is my enemy, and I now realize I have no enemies.